Hello, and we are back in action. Everyone's feeling a little weird right now because of this lovely MR. I don't even want to say the name.
It's not even just that, it's the Venus retrograde compounded.
Also, so I have a question. So I was wondering about this, and we'll talk about, it's a really good time to what? Clear spaces, right? I would think.
Oh, yeah.
Right? What do you always say? The redo.
Oh, the revisit, renew, refresh, revitalize, recycle.
Hey, always recycle, guys.
Yes. Refresher, all the re's during Mercury retrograde are clear and good to go. It's an excellent time to do that sort of thing instead of trying to put in place something brand new, and start new contracts or, selling a house and things like that. You don't necessarily want to do. I mean, sometimes life is life, right?
Sometimes life is life, and you got to put those things into play. But I always say, if it happens during that time, because actually, funny enough that you say that, I actually have a contract that we're going to be signing at the end of the month, which is still in the space. But I look at it as, we're already signed, sealed, delivered. This is just admin.
Yes. So if something's already been started, it's fine to pick it back up again or keep the ball moving. Mm-hmm. That counts. Like some people are like, well, I'm going to be taking this trip. Should I try to cancel and change? And, they mentioned, 2 months ago, they purchased tickets. And so in my mind, I said, well, that should be all right because you started the process a while ago. The ball was already rolling. Nitpick about it. But it's just a good guideline. Again, life's sometimes, and you have to do it. So what I do personally is I call in my guides, Archangel Michael, and I ask them to bless the transaction, bless the thing, may it present in the most optimal manner, and things like that. So you can ask for a little help with that too, because but if you have the opportunity to maybe not start, something brand new. I'm trying to find some examples now.
Something new that comes in, like
a car, maybe not.
Yeah, like something new, maybe a new opportunity comes into play, during that kind of time frame. It's okay to wait, because we always say don't what is it? Don't jump the gun. What's that saying, right? Don't jump the gun.
But you can take time to research it and get ready for it and maybe sign the deal, just after. And again, it's for the best optimal energy, because what retrograde does, Mercury retrograde, is it presents conflicts, potential. If there's a hole in something, it's going to find it in a not a good way. There's potential for a lot more arguments and fights, miscommunications, technical difficulties, cars, usually batteries go dead, just washers stop working. You're just like, oh, of course it is. Of course it is.
So I had a question. So that's more of kind of if correct me if I'm wrong, Mercury retrograde is more for kind of reevaluating kind of where you're at, maybe an audit, if you will, on certain things that are happening in your life, yourself, your career, relationship, whatever. Tie things up, put it in a bow, make sure it's good to go. Oh, that rhymed.
Now look at you, sassy. Yeah, like it's a great time to go through old things in the house and donate them and just find out what really fits you now. It's great for that.
I do like that. I do look like a spring cleaning. Similar situation.
It's spring. Equinox is later this week, so rock and roll on that.
I do like that because I like a clean space. I've noticed that as I've gotten in my wiser years, blink my eyes. As I've gotten in my wiser years, I do not like a lot of things. Like if I haven't used it in a year, I'm like, okay, I really like it, but I'm going to put it to the side. If I don't, I'm going to put it kind of in the front for clothes, especially. If I haven't used it in a year, haven't worn it in a year, I kind of put it to the front. And if I'm noticing that I'm pushing it back and back, within a couple of months, I usually just donate it. And that's what I've been doing
Excellent.
with like paperwork and things that I really don't need anymore, things that I haven't used. Um, yeah, just clearing the space and clearing that energy and just and even moving things around. Like I move kind of myself around. So I would usually
Yeah.
sit at my desk, the windows behind me. I'm gonna try this couch situation. I have a couch in my office and I love it. So why not just try this? I just gotta figure out the whole conglomerate of situation here
I
that's
mean, one of
comfortable.
the first podcasts I ever watched back in the mid 2000s was Dig or Dignation. Now,
Mhm.
if you guys are old school geeks, you know who I'm talking about. But they did it on the couch with beers. They had a different particular one that they were cider, some sort of drink that they were testing.
Yeah,
And testing is not the right word. Sampling is a better word.
sampling.
And or sometimes, they were given from advertisers, Alienware laptops, and they were testing them on there and showing you.
Yeah,
It was a geek podcast. But it was done from a couch
yeah.
the whole time. Couch just chillaxing.
I love a chillax. I
A
love a
chillax.
relaxed chillax situation. Yeah, I want to get a stand for the mics and the whole thing. That's coming. So when I do the podcast and they actually want to come over and sit on the couch and
Oh
chit
my
chat,
goodness.
I
Hey,
know that
wouldn't
is
that be
that is the
exciting?
that's the plan. That's the plan. Yeah, something different.
Right? I mean, I
Sounds
have an
different.
extra chair in here once this is all rearranged into structured shelving, and things are organized and less cluttered. Perhaps there is a second microphone option here, or at least share the microphone.
Right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Grab it and
something.
say,
I don't
hey.
know. Hey, hey. But I was wondering about, so we're kind of, tying down what Mercury retrograde is. Now, what is this Venus retrograde? Is this something totally different? This is more on the feminine kind of energy. Like what is
Relationships,
this?
love,
Oh.
Venus. Yes. So the long and short of it,
Mm-hmm.
is that relationships that you have had in the past and there is unresolved aspects of that,
Yeah.
things will be brought up for you to resolve during this
Hmm.
time. It could be things that you just encounter emotionally, internally, like you maybe
Uh-huh.
don't have contact with them now or
Yeah.
something, but it's going to bring those unresolved things that just didn't get cleared away more to the surface.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it very irritating. I accept it. I know my path, but I'm thoroughly irritated. So
So
there's
this
that.
is this is interesting. This is interesting because I mean for myself, I don't feel that I have, I guess, past situationships. I know that I do, and I do my very best to keep them at arm's length. They're very aware of my situation, of my relationship and all that stuff. But I do notice from time to time, it's a creep up. It's a out of the blue situation. I'm like, I go for what? Like, why?
And
Why?
in Mercury retrograde, they also joke about, don't go texting your ex at 4 a.m. So it's a little combination here, but I think the Venus retrograde more so brings up triggers and aspects that are unhealed.
Got you.
Not necessarily the phone call, but perhaps, but it's more things that you thought you had healed through. Uh,
Yeah.
and perhaps did not. And so it enlightens some areas there. And some of you may not run into this at all, but others,
Mhm.
if you're feeling this now, this might be why, because the energy is right for that. So you take it in theory, we take it as an opportunity to go ahead and tackle some things, revisit,
Ooh.
feelings or
Yeah.
why. So the
Mhm.
double combination is really I feel like there's a lot of introspection involved, a lot of digging inside, and reevaluating some things, from a new lens, perhaps.
Yeah. Now, could you also kind of look at that as relationship to self and not with just, but
It could
not
be
only a
self-love, yeah.
partner?
Could be that as well. It's anything in the Venus category, which in my world is love all the way around. Now, Libras are ruled by the planet Venus, so perhaps I'm hitting a little harder in areas because that's my planet as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There are theories.
Yes, theories for sure.
I just know the combination has made me a wee bit grumpy on the regular, but we just walk through it with grace as much as we can. It's okay to be grumpy sometimes, even if you're spiritual. Just don't stay grumpy.
Just don't stay grumpy, feel the feels, take a beat, feel the feels. And that I think for myself, it has been something that I've been like shying away from, is feeling the feels, like the urge to cry, the urge to literally sit on the couch and meditate, or because I'm just like not, so I'm feeling really emotional. And I know this week for myself personally is a pretty emotional, like tapping into certain things that I didn't, not that I didn't know were there, but they're that are kind of realizing, man, that time, it's been a while. It's been a long time since, my mom is gone, my, late husband and all that stuff, and all these things, which are pretty heavy. But then also my sister's birthday is in that same kind of week, and she's turning today 50 years old, what a blessing.
Oh,
Yeah.
happy birthday.
Happy birthday. So it's like, yes, feeling the feels, and yes, feeling that sentiment of like, man, all the things that have happened in the last few years that, that my mom is quote unquote missing, but I don't, I do my best not to look at it that way anymore. And I did for a while, especially right when she passed, like my nephew graduated high school, all this stuff. Um, I look at it more like, okay, she's physically not here, but she's seeing everything, hearing everything, sensing everything. Then she's made me very aware of that she's around. At least,
I mean, she's not shy.
Yeah. She's
No,
definitely
she is
not
not.
shy. No, 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 no. And I'm very lucky to have that, like, be tapped into that, because
Mhm.
I think otherwise I don't know if I think I would be more sad, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
It's such a gift when
Yeah.
you have the acceptance that that's a potential, and especially when you've experienced a little bit of it, because it's two
Mhm.
different things. First, I believe and I know and I can't wait, and then there's when it happens quite a bit, and it's such a gift. I love it. I don't know what I'd do without it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Honestly, it
for
really
sure.
does help you get through things, you
And
know.
it's curious because a lot of people are like, how do you know? How do you know? I was like, it's not that I just know, like I've seen things happen. I've recorded things happening. Like I'm just like, okay, this is not a casual, you know, random occurrence of events. Um, it's just, there's just things that have that I've experienced. And luckily that my sister has experienced also, that she's like, okay, I get it, and I don't know what they think up there, or how they kind of decide, like, okay, we're gonna knock on your door, we're gonna say, hey, what's up, or whatever, and there's other folks like that, like, Kai still has yet, my late stepson has yet to kind of appear and all that stuff. And I see pictures, I hear the songs and stuff like that. So for me, then, like, maybe that's his way of like kind of communicating. But like physical, or like in any kind of way like that, I don't notice. Or I haven't really tapped into that. Or maybe he doesn't feel like he needs to, and that's okay too.
Well, there's some different theories and stuff on
Yeah.
that. But I know my late best friend doesn't come around all that much, and I thought in the beginning I felt like she did. But not just once in a while now, you know.
Hmm.
Whereas my mom, she's all the time. She's
Yeah.
all the time. I wish, that I would have more from my grandma. I thought I would because I was so close.
Yeah.
And I've had some really big ones, but not that frequent.
Mm-hmm.
And this same with grandpa. Actually, he shows up a little bit more. So each relationship seems to be a little different.
For sure.
And for a while after my sister passed, there was no friendly visiting. It was, and that's a discussion for another day. But then eventually she started to pick up on certain important times of the year, but not all the time. Like mom is just like all the time with the chitty chatty business. So, and I used to think I was doing something wrong, or it made me get my feels a little bit like, why don't they come? Why wouldn't they come? And we don't know what goes on over there. I remember one of my mentors that many, many years ago, her theory, and what she had learned and channeled in was that there are times when they cross over that they stay a little closer. There are times when they cross over that they have something they have to do as part of their karmic stuff, and they can't come around as much. And then I have also heard that there are times when they reincarnate faster than slower, and they cannot communicate when they reincarnate. So there's always that potential too. If they've reincarnated,
I never thought about that. Yeah, that makes sense.
They can't really contact you like that. And this is, obviously I have not passed on and reincarnated, come back to tell you this, but these are the things from people that I kind of trust, take things seriously, and have studied and learned, and this is what they've collected. So I just try to give all the theories I've learned so that you can have a broader scope, or anyone can have a broader scope, and kind of find out your own truth in the moment.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I like that.
But either way, these are kind of heavy energies that you've been going through this week. I have, and I'm sure many others are. And that's why it's very important when the inside's heavy, at least let's try to clear the outside so we can try to adjust some things,
Because it also shifts the, like you said, it shifts the energy in the space that you're in. So like, let's say if it's your bedroom, your office, your kitchen, when, and it's kind of funny because I'm someone when I'm just either really, really sad or really aggravated, I go crazy cleaning and moving things around and like literally clearing the space. I don't know if that's if it's my OCD or if it's my emotions at the time of working. Probably a mix, a little bit of both, which is fine. Yeah, definitely both.
Because I'll go cut some stuff outside. Yeah. Part of it is psychologically you're doing something and affects a change that you can visually see right now. I find people that do things where you can see right away the result.
Yeah.
And it helps you move forward in some way. Okay, at least I got this done. I'm mad about this. I'm grumpy about this. This I can visually see is done. Plus your body is exercising something. You're moving, which gets the chemicals moving. What is this?
I don't know. Your note taker is on.
What is the note? Hi, note taker. Who are you?
I don't know.
I'm going to leave it and find out what this means.
Oh, okay. We're gonna prove Jamie's
it's Honor AI, and I signed up for that because of you, and I'm not sure what.
Oh yeah, she automatically comes on and then she'll automatically come off. So I don't know what her deal is, Otter AI or whatever. But it'll basically do a summary as from the moment that she gets on till the end of what we discussed. Yeah. So
Okay,
yeah.
well, I
so
like
FYI, I love a note-taking situation because I'm like, oh, what did we talk about? But then sometimes it doesn't record it, and then you have to listen to the episode over again, which is
yeah.
also...
I like Zoom's AI recorder. That's
same.
fabulous.
Same.
So that disturbed me. I thought we had a party crasher here.
Yeah, that's okay. Maybe it is. Who knows?
Who knows? So I think I mentioned to you that earlier this week on the Lightworker Path Spiritual blog, I posted a little blog out there on Reiki and clearing heavy energy and some simple and powerful little practices that you can play with.
I like it. I have not seen it.
All right. Well, let's go over a little. And as I'm going over some of this, I'd love to hear, or I'm sure we'd all love to hear, some of the things that you like to do, unless you'd like to start with that first, the back and forth here on some things you like to do.
Yeah, let's start with what you posted so I can get a clear picture, and then see what I like to do.
Right on, right on. So it mentions things just as we spoke of a minute ago. If the air is like thick with tension, if you're feeling tension, there's some sadness, maybe you've had arguments in the house or got some bad news on the phone, and there's just this lingering heaviness. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have actually felt it, or maybe didn't consciously recognize it, but now you're going to, I bet. And because it is really a universal thing. And so many of us can pick up on energy now, even in the most organic way. It's a great practice to have. And there's a few different ways that you can go about cleaning your space. Now, there's more than what I've added here, but there's plenty to play with here. And if you're really digging on it, you can research some more or ask us some specific questions in email or on post, or however Steph decides we're going to do it this week. We have so many ways to contact us. Just find us and
the DMs are always easiest. The DMs are always easiest.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they're just easy because our phones are always with us. So DMs are always the best. Comments or posts are always the best because we can respond pretty quickly right after that. I know Facebook, it takes me a minute because I don't go on Facebook that much. I'm just going to be honest. But I'm working on manipulating the Facebook situation and inviting those who are not following DCNW to follow. And and it's curious now, kind of going back to that of clearing the space and energy and all this stuff. I've noticed myself a little nervous on inviting people to listen to the podcast. Why the heck do you think that is? What the hell am I so scared of?
We could have a chat on that.
Speaking of clearing space and energy, maybe and blah blah blah,
needs to be released, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I am not shy with telling people to listen. I give a little clips and
it's
little
just
things.
So curious. Like, it is, and because I noticed it yesterday, I was like, oh, we only have X amount of followers on Facebook, and all the people are on my regular Facebook. I was like, oh, I can invite them. And then I was looking, I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for that.
I'll invite my people.
Isn't that just
Here's
weird?
The thing. This is what we're calling to do here right now. We're calling you to step fully into all that you are. Not just put one sock on. Both socks and shoes.
And shoes.
We're doing it. We're doing it. It is you. There's no hiding that now. Oh, no.
That's it. No.
This is all you, and they are going to be, some of them are going to be very impressed because they haven't even seen this version of the creativity that you're putting out there. And some may not listen. And you know what? That's fine. I'd rather.
Okay. Yeah.
That's totally fine. But this is you. It's 3 years now. So this is you. This is you. So let's do the thing. And
so
we'll talk more on this.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk more offline about this. But
because I'm inviting folks, but we need more posts up there.
Yeah. Fair. Got it.
3 years.
What's funny, the reason why I bring this up on our recording here, I was re-listening. Remember, we're back to Rees. I was re-listening to the astrologist from Colombia that did my reading in 2019. I was like, I think I need to hear this again. And something that I did not catch as of now 5 years ago, almost 6, he said that I'm a person who is always going to be on the screen or whatever, blah, blah, communicating, blah, blah, blah. But I am also one who is a little shy Like I want to do it and then I don't want to do it. I want to do it and then I'm like, ooh. And I'm noticing that energy like right now. I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to let them know what's happening.
Yeah.
It's
We do need to talk about that. We need to
yeah,
dive into that and find out what exactly you're feeling and why are you feeling it.
fear. Why?
Well,
'Cause
yes, that
I'm
is the
literally
end result.
putting my whole like all my shit
Yeah.
out there. No, I mean not that I'm not willing to do it. I mean it's out there. It's there. It's in the it's it's in the airwaves. You know, but it's just so
I'm going to ask you
curious.
one question
Oy
on
vey.
live,
Okay.
on air. You
Mamma
ready for
mia.
this? Oh
Mm.
my. Face, you can't see. How many podcast feedback were, how they connect back to you after listening to the podcast, whether it's
Mhm.
DM or email, how many of those have said, this sucks?
None. 1,000% none.
Say that a little louder for the people in the back.
None.
I'm so
Zero.
sassy. None. Those that find it, and that is something that I was taught many years ago, and I still, come back to that.
Mhm.
There's an old saying, an angel saying, when nervous, think of service. You're being of
Ooh,
service. Yeah. When you feel nervous, think of service. And so I have
I love that.
really pulled on that so many times when I was scared. Oh, I don't know if I could do this reading, back when I was starting to do cards and starting to do
Yeah,
this. And I get all hot in the face and I get nervous and I'm like, oh God, what if what I say they don't like and all that? And I go back to when nervous, remember service. So I am
that's
a channel. I am
fucking
being,
fantastic.
I do take it and you use it because you are being of service to those who like to hear us chitty chat and talk about things. Perhaps it's like a long distance friend we've become,
Hmm.
maybe, or at least a little group that can give them some laughs because we do enjoy a laugh on this
We do
podcast,
love a giggle.
baby.
We do love a giggle.
I'm just saying, I don't want
When
to do it if I
nervous,
can't
think of
laugh.
service. I freaking love that. That
Yep,
is,
yep.
yeah.
And so that was something that was shown to me early on, and I pull on it for years and years. And now, even if I start to get a little nervous,
Yeah.
I say, okay, may this reach the ears that it's supposed to reach and the hearts that it's supposed to touch, and all else can drive by,
Yeah.
you know? So you just put that little petition out to the universe and to yourself and know that whoever hears it, whether they have a positive or a negative response, it was purposeful that they were put in the path of this.
Yeah.
And if they have a negative, there's a reason for that. It's drumming up something that they're going to now have to work with. So it set them on their path, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, how's that? Just think about that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, girl.
Okay, well, you brought it up. I just thought,
I did. Yeah, I sure did. I sure did because it's accountability, and I am, guys, I'm an open book, and when I'm feeling and sensing something, and I gotta say it, I gotta say it. Like that, it is what it is. Like this is me.
I love it though.
Yeah,
And I think the listeners love the vulnerability that we show too, you know.
yeah, for
It's
sure.
authentic, people. And that's
Yeah,
what's most important.
this is it, man. This is just, we're not trying to, be anybody that we're not. And this is it took me a really long time to get here, and I'm not doing that again. So
Absolutely not.
yes,
Onward and
queen.
upward.
I love it.
So,
I love it.
reach your hands out.
Yes.
And people at home too. Oh yeah, expand your chest and your heart chakra area. Just get the tension out of there.
There
All
we
right,
go.
good.
Shake it off, baby.
Feels
Shake
good.
it
Shake
off.
it off. A little T Swift there.
A little too swift. There you go.
All right. So back to this magic squirrel. Um, some, how do we call it? I like to say practices So
Okay.
exercises or practices that you can do, whatever feels most beneficial in lingo for you. You want to say you're at home, say you're, like you said, at the office. These are places you could do it in your car if you want to, outside, wherever you feel like you just need to shift the energy.
Yeah.
There are different ways that you can do this. If you are a practitioner in Reiki, of course, you can use Reiki symbols, the power symbol, to clear the room there. And that's the more spiritual, magical side for listeners. There are ways to do that sort of thing, but there are also other things that just anyone, whether you're a Reiki practitioner or not, can utilize. Some things are sound vibrations. Now, I know that you have your drum there and you utilize some of the theta. And while we typically say, at least I do when I'm teaching, to have earbuds and headset on to change your internal vibration and reset the chemicals in there, you can play it in the house.
Yeah. So I've been
like,
slowly sneaking in the solfeggio frequencies.
Yep.
To play on volume 2 throughout the house.
There you go.
And my associate has not noticed, but I noticed like his like mood kind of shifted a little bit.
There you go. It helps with the animals too. They like that.
Yeah.
They chill.
Yeah.
It's just that lightness, and there's almost always music playing here. Not 100% of the time, but many times there's music playing. Yeah. It is a tool that I absolutely love to use. My body, my energy is very receptive to it. So it's one of my go-tos. So with sound vibrations, you can use music like that. You can chant if they're different. Some people do the more verbal, the om, to shift the energy in the air. There are so many things. Anything that causes a vibration or a sound can be used, and there's just a plethora of things, because some folks do not want to om. They're just like, I am not going to do that, and that's okay, because you know what, you can pick up a set of bells and you go around clockwise, just as if you were smudging clockwise around the house, and have a door or window open to kind of just let the bajiggity energy leave. And
if it's cooler outside, I always like to open the windows to kind of freshen the air and get for me, it's always been like, my mom used to do it when it was cooler outside. She would open all the windows she would say, air out the house.
Yep. Air out the house.
Air out the house. And now knowing like what she was into and all her spirituality, like I understand it was more than airing the dust out of the house.
Yes.
Just airing out the house. And you know what? And I love that you're saying music as a kind of first kind of clearing of the space, because music is really it's really truly healing. Whatever kind of music that you're listening to, it really has, like, if you're in a great mood, you want dance music. If you're in a real pissy mood, you want like death metal. Sometimes I do. Whatever that mood is, just to get that energy out or get that feeling out. And it's so tribal, like so many centuries of music, of musicians and music instruments and all these things that I've been actually reading about and learning about, because I see these wild instruments that some of these musicians are playing, and I'm like, what the heck is that guitar situation? But it's not a guitar, but it is. But just really, really cool stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like from the 15th century or the 13th century, that style of music and musical instrument was around for, the gods or the kings and the queens and all this stuff, or for the tribe or whatever. Like, it's just really, really interesting stuff.
Absolutely. And this year as well, you're on a personal journey to increase playing of instruments as well, sound and vibration. So your body wants to kick it up a notch there, your subconscious, and be like, all right, I'm going to be a part of the music.
Yeah.
Not just going to play it.
Not just going to play it.
I'm going to sync my vibration with the music. I mean, that's, second level yumminess there. And it's really cool. So there are, in this blog post, there are some optional things that you can say when you're clearing they're not for everyone, but if you are interested, you can say things like, with love and grace, clear this space. Or
like that. Anything that rhymes, I'm down.
I'm telling you. And of course, I have my Archangel Michael, clear this space of all energies that are not here for my highest good at this time. Or just something simple like clear, cleanse, delete, and restore, baby. You know, there are many ways to do it. You find what feels good and feels empowering, and because you take charge of this clearing of your space now, guys, folks. Yeah, it is something that you are empowered. You are now kind of commanding the energy to shift, and you do have the ability to do that. So it's super fun. So you can use bells, you can use sounds, music. If you are on the weekly newsletter, my weekly newsletter, the energy newsletter, has an energy forecast every single week.
It's so good, guys. If you guys are not subscribed, like I read it today and I was like, oh yes, oh girl. And then I reread last week, so I was like, yep.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a free meditation in there every week. And it's based off of YouTube. I choose there because everybody and their brother, no matter what Android or Apple or whatever, you can listen to YouTube. So it's a universal thing. So I choose one each week. I listen to it. I say, okay, this is the vibe for the week. So you can pop that bad boy on. You can stream it to your TV if you're fancy, and let that just play in the house while you're doing this. And it's free. I like that. Again, when you're clearing spaces, a spiritual practice, kind of the way we do it, so to speak, is you're going to walk clockwise and end where you started. So it's kind of a circular
And
thing.
why clockwise?
To escort it out. It's just the way it is. It's in different rituals and things like that. Let's see here. Sacred scents. So burning incense or smudging. You can trace Reiki symbols or any sort of protection symbols in the air with the smoke or with the smudge stick. I have my rosemary. I dry rosemary and roses and whatever else I have, if it's lavender or mint or, something like that. And I make smudge bundles. Yes. So yes, you can make your own in the garden. You can get them in any metaphysical shop, or you can just use some incense and kind of go around.
Or Home Goods. FYI, Home Goods has sage bundles.
Yeah, Five Below does too, guys. We got a Five Below. So there's that. They actually surprised me with their little, quartz, all the quartz, so we have like fluorite and, amethyst and things like that. And regular quartz. So they got some, basic bundles there. And I believe they even had some dragon's blood dipped sage as well.
Ooh, so, look at that.
I mean, get it, guys.
Get it, guys. It's available. Well, so it's funny because I don't think I maybe paid attention to those items. I mean, of course, crystals and rocks for sure. That was always a kind of an attraction for myself. But I don't think until I started in this practice and in this space, I ever noticed tarot cards, oracle cards at Home Goods. And remember, I used to take pictures every time I would go. I would take pictures, and I was like, I go, look at this. Look at
DJ's
this.
had it at one point, like a whole bunch of them. Usually around September, October, they're going to do it because it's popular. Yeah. Around then, the spooky time of year.
The spooky time. But I mean, it was so great. And I think it's fun. You know what I mean? It's not, I think what's important, especially with tarot and cards and crystals and all the things that we're kind of talking about, it is not the end all be all of things. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's important. And people are really scared of, like my aunt, I remember, was really scared about tarot cards and oracle cards. She's like, why are you reading cards? I was like, I go, FYI. I don't know if you know this, Rosie. My aunt, her name is Rosie. I said, they've been using cards for centuries. whether it's telling the time, the equinox and all this stuff. It was involved with farming. It was involved with, you know, the spring into summer and all these things. Like it is something that is historical as the pyramids.
It was a
It
way
is,
of life before there was religion, formal
yeah,
religion. So it, you know, there's that.
yeah, yeah. But I think it's so interesting that a lot of people don't know that. They think it's something that was just kind of created, some random thing. But like if you
Mm-mm.
historically look at it, like that's where that came from. And it's a
Yeah.
guide. Like everything that we say, it's a guide. It's whatever's going to work best for you. And at first I didn't want to do talk with cards. I didn't want to deal with cards because I was like, I don't know if I know how to do this. I was a little scared.
Yeah, that's
Let's be
okay. It's
honest.
helpful
Yeah.
to, have some sort of
Because I think it was that level of, for me, it was, I think, that level of respect because
yeah.
I know what this is, the capabilities of what this is. And I think that's why I was always so drawn to work with Jamie because it was always in light. It was never working really in dark. We did shadow work for sure, but it was never in a dark situation, if that makes sense. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it wasn't like low energy,
Yes. Yeah.
revenge sort of stuff. It was all because even shadow
Hmm.
work, I mean, it's the shadow because it's the part of you that's unhealed and needs light brought to
Yeah.
it, to be transformed, to be worked out, uh, healing through traumas and things like that. Doesn't mean it's a evil part.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And we can only be one if we accept both sides and they learn to mingle in a healthy way.
Mm-hmm.
And there's
Balance.
that.
Yeah.
Um, there's a couple more things here. It was neat. In this article, I wrote something. The aroma not only purifies the space, but also carries your intention into every part of the room. So because it's in the air, it kind of has that extra bit of, just like sound. It
Mm-hmm.
carries through with your intention, and do set an intention. I neglected to say that originally, but you can't, it's not that you can't, but it's perhaps not in your best interest. Just say, clear this space. Perhaps you want to have an intention of what you want it to feel like, lighter, more fun,
Yeah.
like a giggle, that sort of energy. Feel and tap into what energy you'd like to set it at, and allow it to progress. Maybe you cannot get to a giggle yet because you had a big, big fight, but maybe it gets to a bit of ease and lightness. And then
Mm-hmm.
keep doing it. You can't overdo this either, guys. If you want to do this every day or twice a day if you need to, I know in this house, if there's a fuss on the phone with the client or something like that, here comes the sage. Somebody's got the sage out and they're saging. Oh, no, 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 no. And it's
That's
just a
awesome.
thing just to get it on out like a stink. Just get that
Yeah,
stink out of here.
for sure.
Yeah.
I do like that. I do like that a lot. And that's, it doesn't have to be a one-time thing. It's whenever you're really feeling it.
Yeah.
Whenever
Yeah.
you're feeling that kind of heaviness or whatever, move things around on your desk or move things around and it doesn't have to be a big, production. Put
Little shifts
flowers.
are how we get
Yeah.
it happening.
Yeah, put flowers in your bathroom, Maybe it
Mhm.
doesn't have to be every week, but maybe this week you're just really feeling fucking shitty and just put a little plant in there, a little happy. It doesn't have to be this big, huge, massive overhaul of a situation, but just kind of like, shift a little of that space and clearing that space so you feel a little better,
Yeah.
Maybe the situation's not going to go away or whatever just yet, or you're going to feel some sort of way for a while, but make sure that you have the opportunity, or you put that kind of into play, that practice, thank you, that practice into play of kind of moving things around.
Yeah. I just this Saturday on the way home, I went and got some fresh flowers for the house and put it in a couple rooms. Every little bit counts right now.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
fresh flowers it is, saging it is, bells, all the things, incense, just
And I had a question on bells. So why bells? And I've heard bells for a couple of different reasons. It's in different ceremonies and stuff like that. So why bells?
Going
Do you
back to
know
my
kind of
ritual experience and my personal experience removing energies from spaces that are
Mhm.
not wanted there. The particularly pesky ones don't like bells.
Ah,
So it gets rid of things that maybe smudging doesn't.
okay.
If we're going to look at it from that perspective.
Yeah.
Now, those just trying this out can just trust what I'm saying here. They don't have to get deep into the removal of negative energies in the space. I've been called to businesses and houses and stuff when there's weird stuff going on. And I will always have my bells with me as well, because it's kind of like they're the big boys, and things do not stick around. They get real agitated with the bells. But sometimes if it's just light and it's more of there's been a heaviness in the family, usually
Mhm.
smudging will work. But if
Yeah.
something that has been lingering and building, it needs the bells, an extra oomph. Now, I cannot tell you when the first times bells were used for this sort of thing back in history, but it has a long history
Oh, for sure
of
it does. Yeah,
being
yeah, yeah.
utilized. It jolts the sound and the vibrations in the air more than a smell does. Like remember
Yeah.
when we did the Samhain ritual and I did the drums around, you could almost perhaps feel them if you
Mhm.
were close to the drum, and it shakes it up on a more intense level.
Yeah.
So big drumming will do that as well. But it's easier to carry the bells around than the drum all the time. But perhaps, sometimes the drum gets it.
Hey, you never know. You never know. Yeah.
Yeah. So in my brain, in the way I like to see it, is it jolts the vibrations a bit more, unsticks them, so that I
Okay.
can clear them away, kind of shake them up a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like it.
Yeah, and a couple other things, as you mentioned before, air and sunlight, opening windows and doors to allow fresh air and sunlight to flood in. We love the prisms. It brings me happiness. And, there are some spiritual aspects to that as well, having the prisms and the light
Oh, there
shining in.
are?
Oh, yes.
I thought it was just pretty.
Well, it is pretty and it makes you happy too. So there's magic.
There is
But
magic.
there's also an archangel associated with, a
Oh,
rainbow
that's right.
color. So I like to invite that fella in as well. Let's see here. Color visualization, speaking of.
And who is the archangel before for the people, the unknowing people, archangel? With it's rainbow, right?
Yeah. So prismed rainbow, archangel Raziel. He is the Merlin
Raziel.
magician, the Gandalf of the angels. He's great for spiritual alchemy, transmutation, which is what you're doing essentially, changing low vibration stuff to higher vibration. So you are performing alchemy in the energy around you, if we really want to get sassy about this.
I love getting sassy.
Deeper.
Yes.
Yes, you are the alchemist of your space. Period. End of story.
I dig it.
You are the magician card, my friend. That is the magician card. You can create. You can create, you can alter, you can manipulate, you can change. You can transform. So there's that.
I dig all of this. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. This is an empowering, this is one of the first, really empowering things that I like to teach, that you have control over the energy in the space. You may not make it absolutely perfect, but you can adjust it. And you can get better at adjusting it. The more energy you can channel in through attunements, raising your vibration, the bigger the channel you can, the more effect you have. In either way. So if you're grumpy pants, like I have been, the pups have gotten into 2 fights, which is irregular. Just being around me, no food involved. So I was somehow the source of that. So that is a conscious thing I have to look at and say, okay, at least around them, I've got to have a good mood, because they just pick up on primal energies.
Yeah, it's wild.
they are two different sizes and it's actually dangerous for them. So
Yeah.
this is an example of how it's serious to take control. Now we're going inside of your own energy and have some responsibility for what energy you carry.
Yeah. And people feel it, not that this is for anybody else but yourself, but others will feel it, and others will notice and say, hey, you okay? What's going on? I'm not a good poker player. I wear everything on my face. So if I go out and I have a face, people ask like, hi, how are you doing? Because I'm usually like, bubbly and whatever and happy
Yeah,
because I'm
same.
excited and I'm feeling good. But some days it's just like, I can't hide it. I'm not a good poker player. I would suck. I would lose all the time.
And that's okay.
And that's okay because that is not my path.
And that is not being authentic.
Yeah. So it just, it's people feel it, and people that you're around will notice these sudden shifts. High vibration, low vibration. We're not going to say good and bad anymore. I've been working on how I say my words.
Yeah.
So whether it's high vibration or low vibration, people will sense that. It's kind of wild.
It's in people and animals and things like that. And it's not to say that you're not allowed to feel bad. It's just like an instance like that where I've got to figure that out, how I do that, because it's affecting them and they don't understand. You can't say, oh, I'm just sad. You don't be sad. Animals just like, they feel this tension, this weirdness. And so then they snip at each other. And then, so there's that. But with that said, color, last bit here is color visualization. You can visualize, again, if you work as a Reiki practitioner or a spiritual practice where you have symbols and sigils. And as if you guys have been to any of the power hours where we create our own sigil, you can make symbols and infuse them with a purpose and an energy, a connection to them. So with that said, even if you're not a Reiki practitioner, you can use these symbols and kind of draw them in the air or visualize them in like a white or electric blue color to kind of clear a room. These are a little bit more advanced. You have to, not for everyone. Some people are like, yeah, I'll stick to the bells. But for those that are interested in doing things like that, it's another way to do it. Or illuminating the room with a happy color. I like my LEDs, So perhaps mood lighting in that way. And bringing in, so if a light green, if you want to feel this healing energy, you need a little bit, you can play with this stuff because it's not all spiritual. Some of it's psychological.
It is for sure. And I really
subconscious. So if you're doing all these things, yeah. Go ahead.
I really like that you say that because I remember, I don't know how many years ago, I had gone to, it was a wellness hotel and it was in Germany and it was on Lake Constance. And this wellness hotel, what they actually did was in the bathroom, they had like 3 or 4 different light colors. I think one was green, purple, and red. And it would tell you when to use those 3 colors during the day. So if you're like taking a bath at night, you do the red. I think the green was in the morning and then the purple was midday to help you kind of balance out your what is it called? Circadian rhythm. Because the red light was to kind of tone down and relax or on all this stuff. And I was like, that is just the freaking coolest thing. Like I would never have thought to do that when you shower. So if it's possible, guys, so we actually did this throughout the house. I haven't done it in the bathrooms, but now that I'm talking about this place, I want to do it in the bathrooms. You do, whether you're a fan of Alexa or not, or the Googles. We have in the house in all the main areas, so in the kitchen, living room, and in the hallways and stuff, we say, Alexa, party lights, and then she'll do like the different color party lights.
Yeah.
But we have it set usually at purple because it's a little kind of in the middle. I can do them all green. I can do them all red. I
Yep.
can do them all the different colors. And sometimes, not all the time, you'll be able to get a pack of 4 and it's a buy one, get one. So it's a really cool, and you use it with an app. You don't have to use Alexa, but you can use it with an app and you can change the colors. You can set the timer and all this stuff. And I was like, I go, not for nothing, but that is just the raddest thing in the world. Like, if you want a little kind of a mood change, an energy
Yep.
change, you literally change the lights. So at night, I go to bed. I'll usually kind of do a meditation and stuff, but I'll have the lights in the room, in the bedroom, I have them set to red just to calm down and to go to bed and all that stuff. And since I started doing that, I heard it on a podcast and I had told Wayne about it. I was like, I think we should get these lights for the bedroom. And he's like, let's just do it for the whole house. I'm like, okay, great. But doing this has really changed just the way that I sleep and the amount of time that I deep sleep. Because I noticed I was getting very, very
Interesting.
cranky. It was wild. It's been pretty wild. So I if you can do it, there's even just single red lights. If you don't want to do the whole thing, just do the single red light. If you don't want to get fancy
and
with
on
it, but
Amazon, they have, even if you're not that tech savvy, they have just little things you can plug into the outlet and hit the button for red.
Mhm.
So really analog, really easy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it will just leave it on for 30 minutes or something, or 20 minutes while you shower or take a bath or something.
Yeah.
These things, little things combined, you'll notice after a month of doing them, things are different.
Yeah.
So, and again, I'll give you the link for the blog, but it has a lot more in there. But
Perfect.
these
We'll
are
put it
some
on the
great
show
things.
notes. Yeah,
I'm sorry,
I
go
love
ahead.
it.
Yeah.
Well, no, we'll put it in the show notes so people can get it and they have access to it whenever they listen to this.
Yeah, absolutely. Because these
I
are just
love
some tips, and if you guys start trying these things, or if you've already been doing that, and you want to give us some feedback on that, we'd love to hear.
Yes,
DM us.
please. We'd love to
Yeah.
hear it.
I'd love to hear it, and we can talk more about this in April's live stream if you guys have some questions as well.
Perfect. I
Because
love it.
yeah, that's
I
when
love a
you
live
guys
stream.
can get online and talk to us.
Yeah. So be sure to check us out on whenever you hear us and also pay attention. So we do it the first Tuesday of the month, typically.
Yes.
That is the plan. And so far, so good. And yes,
1
we
month
will
down.
have another one April, I think it's 4th or 3rd.
The first Tuesday of April, guys.
Yeah,
Alright,
that first Tuesday of April. So yeah, definitely check us out and yeah, ask us questions. So the 1st of April is the first Tuesday of April is the 1st. Of course it is.
That's funny. That's actually when I have my tax day too, but that's at 8:00 at night because that's the only time they could fit me in. So there's
Jeez.
that. I
Wow.
said, listen, on April Fool's, is that the best day for a tax? I mean, I don't know.
Joke's on you. You're getting all these things back.
Yay.
So
Maybe. All right. Well, thank you for having me today. And
thank you
chit-chatting about
for chit-chatting, and I hope the rest of the week is just as fantastic as our little conversation here was today for
Right.
you.
Absolutely. So mote
Yeah.
it be. And so
Mote
it
it
is.
be. So it is. All right, guys. Thanks very much for tuning in, and see
Till
you
next
next time. Till next time. That's what it is. All right, guys. Later. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. Please remember to rate and review and also follow us on the gram. So we're on Instagram, Facebook, also on Spotify, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thank you guys so much for the love and support. See you next time.